In the last video, we created our very first service. Now, what we want to do is obviously learn about how to create an HTTP request. So the first thing we'll do is jump into our passenger dashboard module. Now, this is where we're importing things like ng module and the common module, but now we also need to import something called the HTTP module. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll do from @Angular, and this will come from Angular/HTTP. So once you've done that, go ahead and copy this, and we'll scroll down to our ng module, and all we need to do is add a comma. So we're saying that our ng module is then importing this HTTP module because we want to use it in our service. So this will then import the dependencies needed for Angular's HTTP requests. So we can close this off for now. Now, the purpose of this video is to actually show you something called injectable, which if you've browsed the Angular docs, you may have seen already. So we've already learned about using the word private, and you can also use the word public if you want a public method. Now, if I just quickly flick back to here, you can see that we dependency injected our service to our constructor. So this is how we can essentially inject the HTTP service that we just imported from the HTTP module into our dashboard service. So what we can do is just do private and then HTTP, and we're going to say it's going to be an HTTP token. Now to import this, we can go up here, we'll do import HTTP from @Angular/HTTP. So now these are all hooked up correctly. What we can do is actually in fact go console log, and then we'll do this.http. So what we'll expect in the browser is to actually see this HTTP object. However, what we're going to see is something different. So you can see a white screen. So let's open up the DevTools and see what went wrong. We have an error here saying syntax error, can't resolve all the parameters for the dashboard service. So what has actually gone wrong here? So let's go back and fix this. In the first video, I wanted to demo how you can use a service without any dependencies. So you might actually not have a dependency in some services. However, when we do rely on a particular provider, such as the HTTP here, we need to import this thing called injectable. So we'll do import injectable, and this one just comes from @Angular/core. So this actually comes from Angular core. We'll take the injectable, and again, just like component, we do @injectable, and we simply mark this passenger dashboard service as its injectable. So this will tell Angular that we can inject things into its constructor. So this allows us to use dependency injection inside our other classes. So before we go back to the browser, what we'll do is quickly console log, and then we'll do this.http so we can actually see that this is working. So you can see our application is now working, and we have this HTTP object. So we've got backend. Now these things are private methods because they're underscored. However, all the object properties that we want, such as delete, get, head, options, patch, post, etc., things for making XHR requests, are available on the prototype. What we'll do is quickly remove the console log and save this out. So now you've understood the reason for this @injectable. We remove it and we use a dependency. Our application will break. If we don't need a dependency, the application will work fine. However, it might be a good practice and a good consistency, even if you're not using something in the constructor as a dependency, just to mark things as injectable. So now you understand the reason between the two, we're going to go ahead and actually hook up our data to Angular's HTTP service.